Paul, the Fan.
All right, now let's hold on here. You got a vibe? I mean, you are a vibe, but do you have a vibe?
I always got a vibe, brother. KFAN welcomes some great shows to the Ledge Amphitheater this year. John Mulaney will be there August 22nd, and Blues Traveler and Gin Blossoms will be there September 12th. Get the complete details on all our upcoming shows on the concert page at KFAN.com, keyword calendar.
If you missed it earlier, it ain't the greatest line in the world, but Max and I were messing around with some kids lingo, and he went to Turkey, and I'm like, did you go to Tarsus? And then I started to think about Asia Minor. And I'm like, if Maxwell Fuller is in Asia Minor, it just became Asia Major. That's why I was laughing. And then trying to uncover these, for some reason, it got stuck in my head that, and I knew it was from an Eminem song, Lose Yourself, but I messed up the lyric. Shocker. But I was like, well, he's Max. I mean, he's broke, but he's dope, but he's broke. And I kept saying it, and Max is like, where's that from? So we uncovered it. Oh, there goes Rabbit. He choked. He's so mad, but he won't give up that easy. No, he won't have it. He knows his whole back's to these ropes. It don't matter. He's dope, but he knows that he's broke. He's so stagnant. That's it right there. But take it to 2026 and the reuniting, and it feels so good about Maxwell Fuller, my man. I'm a surrogate uncle, and yours truly. And I just kept looking at him going, hey, I mean, the way you just laid that whole thing out, and you're very good at what you do. You know what I think of you, is Max is broke, but he's dope, but he's broke. I'm like, where did I get that from?
That would be the name of my autobiography if I ever write one.
There goes Rabbit. He choked. He's so mad, but he won't give up that easy. No, he won't have it. He knows this hole's back to these ropes. It don't matter. He's dope, but he's dope. He knows that, but he's broke. He's so stagnant. I love that. Oh, that's so good. All right, so let's the disjointed nature of the talkbacks on this Talker Tuesday. Brett Blakemore and Nordo and Sam and Kara Savage and everybody else blaming it on you. I don't care what they say about you. I think you're doing a good job.
Thanks.
And I only
go to hell, Brett and Kara.
Well, the way I will prepare things or send things out to those who are aiding the show. I mean, I must not have sent anything to anybody regarding the Northern Fire Prize package. Or maybe I sent it to a couple people like 5 times just to make sure everybody knows. But we came in and, man, we were broke, but we're dope, but we're broke. And we didn't know what was going on. So we're going to give away a prize at the end of the show. That now officially falls on young Maxwell Fuller. It's a $25 prize pack from a northernfirebbq.com. We've played all of 3 talkbacks during the course of the radio show, so we're going to play 3 right now, just to qualify 3, and then play some more later, and Max is going to determine which one wins. Then he's going to get with the learned individuals here who are in charge of this, and somebody's going to get a $25 prize pack. So go ahead and bang one.
Very good morning, PA. Jim from Proctor. The writing's on the wall, in my personal opinion. They bring in Kyler, sign Carson. You put Max at 3. I think JJ, the experiment did not work, and he's going to be trade bait. So I'm thinking he's not going to be on this team very much longer. My take. Have a good day, gentlemen. Skol.
Yeah, that's Skol to you, too. That's Jim with a controversial take. When he laid that thing out, it was Jim from Proctor who decided to gamble. He's broke, but he's dope, but he's broke. All right, hit another one.
PA Max, what's up? Kyle from my Sandy, a.k.a. K-Dot Cuisine, if you know what I mean. Kyler Murray might be small, but he ain't short as Doug Flutie. Who cares if he likes to rock a little Call of Duty? Because when he gets on that field, he'll be working that defensive booty. The run game's a little wrinkle we've been missing. Let's trust in Kyler, and the Lombardi Trophy we'll be kissing. Skol, baby.
Let's
do it.
Save that.
Yeah, I mean, that's gold right there.
For us it is.
That is absolute gold.
People out there, well, I never... I mean, his palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy. There's vomit on his sweater already. Mom's spaghetti. He's nervous, but on the surface, he looks calm and ready to drop bombs, but he keeps on forgetting. That's your leader right now, in my estimation. Hit another one.
Hey, PA. Hey, Maxwell. Happy to hear from you guys today. I agree with Ben as well when he said to get a running back in the top 100. If we can't do that, if it's not Love, Jadarian Price, or Emmett Johnson, then I think we should just wait to the latter rounds and try to get the Demon Claiborne cat, who's the speedster. And, heck, he's got Demon in his first name.
As he looks for the place to stop in the iHeart Audio app.
I always love that.
That was awesome. Thank you very much for the contribution. He got, I don't know if he was a little nervous, got a little staccato early in the thing. It's like he opened his mouth, but the words wouldn't come out. He's choking now. Everybody's joking now. The clock's run out. Time's up. Over. Blow. Back to the audio app. How about one more?
All right, let me find one more.
Now, let's just put people on the stage, crooning on the iHeart Audio app. I call it the iHeart Audio app. The overly prideful call it the iHeart Radio app, even though we're supposed to have ingrained in the last membrane that it's audio. So that's why I call it the iHeart Audio app. Who cares?
Max Fuller and PA this morning on KFAN has to be the funniest duo I've heard in a long time. Anyway, just want to drop this message. Adding Kyler Murray to the team makes us 100% Super Bowl ready. Soon to be big game world champions, Minnesota Vikings. Let's go.
Hold on. We're coming. That talkback individual had one shot, or one opportunity to seize everything he ever wanted in one moment, and he captured it. He didn't let it slip. Yo. KG Cuts, 11:11, KFAN Sports Time, 11:11. KG Cuts, Kevin Garnett does not speak often involving the Minnesota Timberwolves and ownership and the past, the current, the present, and everything, but he did. And the intrepid fill-in producer for 9 to noon, Max Fuller, has he's cut up some, he's chopped up and sliced and diced some KG Cuts, and we're going to go through them and see what we think.
Kevin Garnett, Timberwolves legend, probably, arguably the all-time greatest Timberwolf. Anthony Edwards is giving him a run for his money. He linked up with the current Timberwolves play-by-play announcer Michael Grady, so it was kind of a meeting of the past and the present. And like you said, he doesn't give a lot of one-on-one interviews. He does have a great show that he does with Paul Pierce, and we could never play it over these airwaves.
Is it called The Truth?
I don't think it's
Paul Pierce's nickname was The Truth.
That was The Truth, yeah.
That'd be sweet.
That would be sweet. Their dynamic is so much fun. It's Kevin Garnett. And speaking of that, shout out to the guy that whoever's job it is to bleep Kevin Garnett, because Great Depression, Great Recession, that brother always has a job, okay? That might be the busiest man in America.
How'd you put that earlier? Were those some bars?
Those were some bars.
You spit some bars, didn't you?
I'm spitting hot fire right now. But it was awesome. And Kevin Garnett, I think this is a part of his new role as an ambassador for the Minnesota Timberwolves. I think that includes creating content like this. So we sat down with a one-on-one interview with Michael Grady. About 28 minutes. It's well worth your time. I wish we could play the entire thing. But, they started the interview off after some crisp, smooth dap between the two, which was really cool to see. Michael Grady kind of asked Kevin Garnett to reflect on his journey, how he started in Minnesota, and kind of how he went on this long, winding journey that he ended up back in Minnesota. And here's what Kevin Garnett had to say about that.
This has been like a full circle for me. Yeah. Growing up in Minneapolis as a young kid, spending a lot of my young adult years there, really shaping who I am and how I thought, and just spending just my whole 20s, what I'm saying? Think about that. Just think about having a full decade plus in one place and how it impacted me, and even coming from Chicago, how that impacted me. Having Kevin McHale and having guys like Flip around, they really, really impacted me. Players like Stephon Marbury, Chauncey, Spree, Sam Cassell, Gary Trent, Troy Hudson, Trenton Hassel, those guys that are still friends to this day. And then to go off onto this, I guess, me tour where it's really for me in my career. And I go out and try to obtain all these things that I have on my list. Yeah. And then I get to a point where I have an opportunity to come back to where I struck gold and where I found something to be true. So it was, and then I had kids when I came back. So my kids got to see kind of the I don't know, the yesteryears or what was, kind of like things were before they were, which was fun. And then I go off onto this, into this journey, only to find myself back here. So, yeah, I don't know if that's full circle because we did like a whole like 8. We did like 3 8s in there, right? But the 8 sign, when you put it to the side, is an infinite.
Yeah.
So it's only right that I come back to the place where I feel like my heart has always been. I've never left Minneapolis. I've always kept a home there. I've always called it home since '95.
Boy, that was a long, winding answer. And a normal life, I mean, let's be straight. A normal life is boring, but superstardom's close to postmortem. It only grows harder. And that's in a roundabout way kind of what Kevin Garnett put there, is that through the circumnavigation to Z, his heart has stayed here and his home has stayed here. And now he's able to show his children some things. So that was really cool. What's next?
Before we get to the next question, Pia, I wanted to posit to you. Obviously, the Kevin Garnett that, like he just described it, that answer was when he first arrived here. He was a kid, basically. He was a teenager. He grew up here.
He was the kid.
Yeah, the kid. So what do you remember about Kevin Garnett, the Kevin Garnett that first arrived in Minnesota? Did you ever have a chance? I'm assuming you had chances to speak with him and whatnot.
Man,
what was he like
it's
then?
It's a long story. I've told part of it before on the radio, and we don't have time to share it now. But before I worked at KFAN, I was just a racetrack announcer at Canterbury Park, but I wasn't here full time. So there were 5 years of my life, beginning in 1995 when Canterbury opened, where I would call races in San Francisco for 6 months. I'd go to Grand Island, Nebraska and fill in for somebody at Bonner Park for a month and a half, come up to Shakopee, do May through Labor Day. And I did that cycle for 5 years. Being a lifetime basketball fan, and one of the people with whom I worked at Canterbury named Matt Carruthers, who went to Minnehaha Academy and played basketball, Matt used to go to Flip Saunders basketball camps. Flip, God rest his soul. So there's one night, I'm going to say, what year did KG get drafted?
I think 97. I want to say
it definitely was between 95 and when I went full time here in 98, because so Matt and I went downtown. We went to Minneapolis. I'm going to say I was about 30 years of age, maybe 31, and didn't have many friends.
95.
95. Okay, so that's my first year here. So I didn't know who Flip Saunders was. But being a person who cheered for the Boston Celtics, I very much knew who Jerry Seasteen was. He went to Purdue, got into a fight with Ralph Sampson in the NBA Finals, and played against Jim Peterson. So, I'm old school. I'm old school, best school with the NBA. So, long story longer, Matt and I are at Champs Alley. Okay, Champs Alley. Is that still a thing?
I don't think so.
But do you know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about.
Okay, so we're there in 95, night before the draft. And Matt goes, wow, there's Flip Saunders. And I went to his basketball camp twice. So we went up to Flip, and first time I met Flip Saunders, and I'm like, holy cow, that's Jerry Seasteen with him. I remember when he played for the Celtics like 8 years ago. So we hung with them for like 2 hours, and we're chatting about a bunch of things, including the NBA draft. Bryant Big Country Reeves, before social media, was, like however, people formulated opinions then, and like got it to be wildfire, whatever. Bryant Big Country Reeves, I think, was the one a lot of people thought the Timberwolves would want or would draft. And Flip, no. There's Farragut Academy, this kid from Chicago, Kevin Garnett. So he told Matt and I, knowing that we're racetrack guys, we're not, going to run to Steve Ashburner at the Star Tribune or somebody and like share this information. So they were quite open with it. So I actually knew they were going to draft Kevin Garnett a day before they drafted him. And I learned a lot about KG then. A lot of it lived up to the hype when he played here, with the way he played. And I think to land the plane here with Kevin Garnett, in some of those playoff series, there aren't many players in the history of the NBA where, I don't know if you remember, of course you remember Dirk Nowitzki, your old school, best school. Do you happen to remember a sharpshooter from Wisconsin for the Dallas Mavericks named Michael Finley?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So the Mavericks, I mean, they're near top of the heap. It's back when your guy, Raweed Wallace, played for Portland. They had Domantas Sabonis' dad, Arvydas. Arvydas was the bomb.
He was a beast.
I think Terry Porter and those guys. I mean, the West was tough. Kevin Garnett, young in his career. Michael Finley would be scorching them in a game. Well, let's put Kevin on Michael to shut him down. All right, a 7-footer shutting down a 2-guard on the perimeter. Dirk Nowitzki's getting to you. Well, let's put Kevin on him. You could put Kevin on anybody at any time to shut anybody down. And that includes sharpshooting former Badgers like Michael Finley, point guard, stuff like that. I just never have come across a player who defensively would do what he did against anybody as long as he did it. So that's hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah, interestingly enough, that actually I'll mix up the order a little bit. I had it in a different order, but that kind of leads me into one of his points. Grady asked him about what similarities he sees from the Timberwolves of yesteryear, the Timberwolves teams that he played for, and the Timberwolves, the current modern day Timberwolves. And here's what KG had to say.
I do. This group in the Timberwolves, 225, 226 Timberwolves, they play like wild wolves. Have you ever seen a wolf kill something? And I hate to even use these. I hate to go here, but you ever seen a wolf, a pack, like devour something? When they are on A1, when they on their best, that's how they look. You don't know where it's coming from. Your best player is playing defense just like the defensive player, then your point guard. And next thing you know, all 5 are activated. Oh, man. Ain't nothing's better than when I see young fella come down and he go into his, probably not hit a big bucket or some crazy, right? And they all come down and get up. The first thing to do when you do some fly is to skip back and get back, not to get up and, nah. Yeah. So when I'm watching the Wolves, I'm up on the TV, looking like I'm, turn them again, yeah. That's the similarity. Their defensive energy, when they actually turn it on, yeah. Because I knew that we was a team that could score the ball, but I also knew how good defensively we was. And I'm not saying Sam Cassell was one of our best defenders, but when we all played defense, he would give an 100% effort to where it all fit. T-Wolves, man, 1 through 5, bro. And then when you take Rudy out and put Nas in, Big Jelly. Shout out to Nas Reed, one of my favorite players. Him and Jay McDaniels, my favorites, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But I love watching the young Wolves. They play with energy, and they play to dominate you, which is very rare in today's game. I feel like a lot of times, the clock going. As long as the clock going, we live. Give a f if you beat me by 30. I don't care if you beat me by 20. It's back, right? Now, it ain't no, then it's over. I get it, mano, but nah, I'm here to step on you, my dog. Yeah. And I like that they play with that energy. I think the gamesmanship is too buddy, until somebody loses. Now you mad. Now you want to, okay, so where was that when we was hooping? Yeah. So that's all I'm saying. So when I see that is the difference. When I see the T-Wolves really win, and when I watch them play like that, those are the things that remind me, or at least hint at, because I don't think 1 through 5 we was like that, but the energy they playing with, man, you see it. It really pops off from the screen.
I'm glad he said what he said at the end. When they play like that.
Right.
They played like that against Boston, and they did so without Anthony Edwards. So there was a lot from what he just said. I mean, 1 to 5 defensively with those good teams on which he played, the one that lost to the LA Lakers, with Maxwell's guy Kareem Rush hitting 6 3-pointers at Staples to dagger all the dreams. I don't see it the same way Kevin saw it. Wally Zerbiak never was known for his defensive prowess. Chauncey Billups never was known for his defensive prowess. Rasho Nesterovic, same thing. Troy Hudson, same thing. Kevin Garnett, he was known for everything. I mean, that's stone cold HOF. Got any more?
Yeah, I got one short one and another long one here. But Kevin Garnett, he went on. You saw his excitement perk up there talking about Nas Reed. He's a huge Nas Reed fan. And here's what he had to say about Big Jelly. Grady asked him if he liked Nas Reed. He said, no, not just like.
Love. Not like, Mom. Love. Big Jelly. Listen, Nas don't even know this, man. Nas was playing at Dykeman. He was getting ready to go to college.
Okay.
You know, I'm a huge Jelly fan. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And if you know all the Jelly fam, they got the crazy spins on the ball. They do all this crazy shit. It's like a whole character. He's one of them. And I think he's the biggest, and they call him Big Jelly.
Yep.
So when he comes into the game, I like to watch Big Jelly it ain't one thing Nas does, right? Shoot the three, bake you, put you in the post, fade, you know what I'm saying? Jump hook, right? Can play mate. So, yeah, man, when he comes into the game, it's almost like, I don't know what I'm about to see. I know Jelly going, you know what I'm saying? So I've been a big fan of him, man. Followed him. And now he's with the T-Wolves.
Well, with Nas Reed, Big Jelly, I think we can all agree on one thing. We specifically love when Jelly's on a roll.
Hey, bars though. Yep, Kevin Garnett, obviously, he kind of played in a golden era of Minnesota athletes. He was far from the only star in town. And Michael Grady kind of asked him what it was like coming up, not just with other athletes, but stars from other disciplines as well. And here's what Kevin Garnett had to say.
You know, when you're in it, you don't know how special it is, right? 1 minute it was Jimmy and Terry, and that took me to meeting Prince. And then next thing you know, I'm at the Metrodome watching Mousy and Dion play on Monday night. And then Culpepper comes to the, you know what I'm saying? And then Chris Carter. And then next thing you know, it went from Kirby. And then next thing you know, Poppy and Tori. Yeah, it was like an appreciation for everybody. And, you know, when Jimmy let me first hear the first Janet album, I used to feel like, I don't know, it was just a different aura and a different energy. I don't even know how to explain it.
Yes.
But it felt reciprocated when I would look up and they would be sitting there watching our games. Or I go to dinner with Curb, and he'll be talking about, oh, man, you couldn't do it on Big Shaq, huh? Big Shaq, huh? Big Shaq was, you're the big fella, Big Shaq. Shout out to Curb, man. I miss Curb, man. He was good people, man. But I needed Puck. I needed Terry and Jimmy. I needed Prince. I need all these guys who had come from the city, understood the heartbeat of the city, understood the fans, understanding what type of city it was, you know, and then showing me how to be the constant professional, showing me how to be a Minnesotan, and the things that Minnesotans do in the wintertime, how we have 4 seasons, what they do in the summer times. You know, you got to have a boat, you got to do this, you got to, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I downloaded all that, and I think that to be a part of a time where all of the sports had a hero was dope. That's what I look forward to. I love football, I love baseball, I love all sports. So to be able to go to a football game and watch arguably the best receiver, or, you know, the best, you know, 2 receivers, or to go and watch arguably one of the best hitters in baseball go up against one of the best pitchers, you know what I'm saying? Like, and then Kirby won it. You know, Kirby's won it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? He's actually been to the promised land in Minnesota, in a Minnesota jersey. So I want to soak up all of that. I want to soak up, you know, what did I need to do to change the trajectory and to make the Timberwolves, like how I'm looking at the Twins when they talk about Kirby Puckett. Or when they're talking about the Vikings and Randy Moss, or when they're talking about, you know, albums and sales and, you know, just excellence. Yeah. That's what I wanted Minneapolis to be.
That was fantastic. And he's right. I mean, because so much has changed, period, from then until now. All right. But I mean, my mind just started going because I went to a lot of those games where Jesse the Body Ventura, Jesse the Governor Ventura, he would repel from the ceiling of Target Center, like when they were hyping everything up at the beginning of Wolves games.
Are you serious?
Down comes Jesse, and he had a seat like 5 rows behind the basket by where the media sits. So that was, that was a popular figure that was in the mix. Terry Lewis and Jimmy Jam Harris. Those were the references there. Prince, as in Prince Rogers Nelson, one of my all-time favorites. May God rest his soul. But there was a guy who I think his name was Bill Bizey. Okay, Bill Bizey, and he wore a suit to every game, and they called him the coach. He sat opposite the visitors' bench, courtside. Mm-hmm. I think he worked he was in the financial business, financial planning, like the money and all that kind of stuff. And he rolled up his program and would bang it on the ground. He would get into the refs a little bit respectfully, but he was at every home game year after year after year. I'm pretty sure his name was Bill Bizey, something like that. And he was identifiable, like all the networks. Say CBS had it with Dick Stockton, or NBC now with Mike Tirico. They all would show the coach, and he was identifiable, like to a certain extent, Prince and Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis and Jesse the Body Ventura and some of these. Well, that's where I first met Josh Duhamel. Is the Wolves were playing. And I referenced this yesterday with Fred Hoiberg. Fred Hoiberg, coach of the Huskers, was on 9 to Noon yesterday. Freddie and I and our families have been friends for multiple decades when he lived in Chanhassen, and I first moved to Eden Prairie in 2000. So Fred's old school, best school. They beat Vanderbilt despite that last shot, and they move on. So Fred joins the show yesterday, and we're talking about dramatic moments at ends of games, and I referenced it actually was the day I met actor Josh Duhamel. When the Wolves played the Sacramento Kings, Game 7 Target Center, might have been 2003, 2004, somewhere around there. And the Wolves are winning 83-80. And Chris Webber had a 25-foot three-pointer for Sacramento that would have tied the game. And it's like, did you see Vanderbilt, Nebraska? Did you ever see the end of that?
Yeah.
The guy's name's like Tyler Tanner, or Tanner Tyler, or something like that. The smaller kid with the hair who had 27, he was unbelievable. I never heard of him. He was a baller. Throws that thing up from half court against Freddie. In and out. They're done.
Heartbreaker.
Same thing with C-Web. Same thing with Chris Webber. That sucker in Game 7 of the divisional round spun around the basket 3 times. I can't believe it didn't go in. Hoiberg told us yesterday, podcastable, KFAN.com, he was right under the basket. On the floor for the Wolves at that time. And he's like, we're going overtime. This is going in. And it popped out. And then they went to the Western Conference Finals to play the LA Lakers. So I had done some work for the Timberwolves, back when KFAN was AM 1130. Chad Hartman was on lead vocals. He was the play-by-play voice for the Timberwolves on radio. And so I did sideline reporting for the radio during the first series against the Denver Nuggets. Oh. And it's like, instead of cash, I don't need cash for this. I'd like tickets, for as far as they go.
Yeah.
So I got some really good seats for that Sacramento series. Like in the 4th row behind the coach banging his program across from the Rick Adelman and the Sacramento Kings bench. So, I was in direct view with this C-Web shot, and like 3 rows in front of me was Josh Duhamel, who was, I think, One Life to Live or General Hospital. He was a big, big star in a soap opera. So I kind of knew who he was and stuff, but that's like when Josh and I met. And I wasn't calling Vikings games at the time, and, then I started calling Vikings games. He's a Vikings fan, and we've become pretty close since. So, man, I thank you a lot for playing that. All of that down memory lane we go, because it took me back to times that I greatly appreciate. The run of Kevin Garnett here, I greatly appreciate. One of my all-time favorites when it comes to local sports players and leaders and stars. So thank you for that, and we'll be right back. I want to pay off something that I started earlier. It was called, I think we called it Kyler Calm. And then we had some confusion in there, and we paid that off with Ben Gessling. Those Ben Gessling segments today, I'm not really the one or big on saying, hey, podcast my show. This was really good. Really good is in the ear of the beholder. But for yours truly, I thought Ben Gessling with the Star Tribune really shared some pertinent information today. And we were able to get home on something that was confusing just about J.J. McCarthy and just ancillary things you see. And you got the Wentz deal and you got the Kyler deal. And, Brosmer's still around too, by the way. I mean, people are like, we're happy for you, but you should be, because the head coach has a lot of respect for the way Max Brosmer handles himself and plays football. So he's in the mix. So it was like, the confusing part here was forget the social media sites where, you're seeing that maybe Kyler Murray and maybe J.J. McCarthy should want to be traded. I don't believe that, but it did trigger a confusing thought that we shared. Then we got to Chris Finch and Julius Randle, and some things that Finchy said after the loss to the Portland Trailblazers on Friday night, and involved Julius Randle and his rebounding, and it's got to be better. He was direct, and I just reminded people that Julius and Chris, they go way back to New Orleans. Julius, a big reason Julius is here is because of the adoration Chris has for Julius Randle and how he plays. So kind of paid that off a little bit. Then we started to get into the last four without Anthony Edwards into a big game tomorrow night. By the way, I didn't know until I just looked at some scores from last night that the Houston Rockets lost to the Chicago Bulls. I mean, the Bulls, I think they're in the play-in in the Eastern Conference. So the Bulls...
Not even. They're the 12th seed right now.
They are.
Yeah.
But they're close to that play-in.
Yes.
Like within a game. It's like they're
actually, no, they're not. Yeah, no, the plan is pretty much set. No, they're done. They're 23. They're 8 games behind the.
Are they really?
Seed. Yeah,
My
8
bad.
games behind the. Charlotte
Thank you very
Hornets.
much.
Mm-hmm.
Giddy just came back and he's balling.
Yeah.
And so with that even makes the point better.
Right.
That I was thinking about Orlando and some other teams who, like Orlando, took a bad L last night, I think. But whatever. The Bulls is the Houston Rockets. If they're in Lakers avoidance mode, if they're trying to avoid certain things in the Western Conference, and you probably don't want to lose to the Bulls. Pretty sure the Rockets lost last night, right?
Yeah.
And Şengün, I think he had a monster triple-double. I mean, he was balling last night from what I understand. All right, but the point being here, wow, tomorrow night's game against Houston is big. Because I'm in Lakers avoidance mode. In fact, if we have some open segments tomorrow, you and I can mix that up a little bit. I'm not really one to believe with Luka Doncic and the way the Lakers play a little bit. I haven't been one to believe until I've watched it enough how potent that team is. And DeAndre Ayton's been in and out, but when he's in, he's DeAndre Ayton in, as you would expect. Doncic is the MVP. I mean,
I would say so.
I don't know if, I don't Google current NBA MVP favorite.
I just looked it up a little bit earlier. Shea is still the favorite.
Yeah.
If you go, and I think in a lot of people's minds, people look at MVP, best player on the best team. But I think the way that Luka's been playing right now, there's probably a lot of money coming in on Luka.
Well, he cut the weight. He's kept it off. He has some off the court situations involving like a girlfriend and children and custody and all that. So he's got a distraction. He's balling. I mean, holy cow, is Luka Doncic good right now? Big key for them, in my estimation. There are two. First and foremost, LeBron James has accepted the number 3 role in this MV3. Austin Reeves is number 2. Doncic, Reeves, LeBron.
100%.
LeBron accepted it. Minutes are down. Just things are down with him to make others better because he senses this is right at the end. And I got a chance to win the title here with Luka's not fat. I mean, he's kept the weight off and he's balling. Yeah. And Marcus Smart, when he stays out of foul trouble, it's working. Marcus Smart can lock you down one-on-one as well as anybody in the NBA. He doesn't need to score. He'll turn it over a little and he'll get too many fouls. But when things like that work with Marcus Smart, and they're working, the Lakers are formidable. I don't really want to play them in the first round, so we'll see what they can do with Houston tomorrow night. But see, all that comes back to some things with the Timberwolves without Anthony Edwards. Minnesota's 3-1 the last 4, sans Anthony Edwards. Edwards shoots about 21 times a game, And if you got something that you want to drop in here quickly, just go, because I got my head down in the sheets right now.
Got you.
So he shoots about 21 times a game, high volume shooter. What's different sans Edwards and where those shots are going? And when I put this together yesterday, I really enjoyed it because there are such stark differences, obviously, without Anthony. Chris Finch joins 9 to noon tomorrow right out of the gate. I'll bring some of this up with him. Jaden McDaniels has 56 shots the last 4 games. He had 62 shots total the 8 previous, and all with Edwards in the mix. McDaniels as more of an offensive-minded threat. That's a talker. 7 made threes in his last 4 games. That's more than Jaden McDaniels made in the last month of games, all with Anthony Edwards. There's an answer to this puzzle, so stand by. Gobert without Edwards, 38 shots the last 4. With Anthony Edwards in the mix, he had 38 shots over 10 games. Okay, so do I want Rudy shooting more? That's a talker for another day, but it's a stark change. Bones has hit 13 triples the last 4 without Anthony Edwards. He hit 15 the previous 8 with Edwards, and his minutes have gone way up in the stead of Anthony. Ayo Dosunmu, 58 shots at a high percentage the last 4 without Anthony, and he's starting. He's averaging 8 rebounds a game the last 4 games, all without Edwards. Think about that with Ayo Dosunmu. Dante DiVincenzo and missing Anthony and the attention he draws. It ain't great. The last 4, DiVincenzo shooting 27% on 11 of 40 shooting. He shot 44% from 3 in February. Hey, 44%. It's down to 32% in March. Having Anthony Edwards is an absolute blessing. And let's not forget that. A basketball blessing, that is. And he'll shut down almost any player in the league when almost full health and engaged. Brought that up with Finchy on Friday, and he agreed. Here's the rub. It's mostly apparent a handful of Timberwolves seem to be enjoying themselves more now than some games in which Edwards plays. If that's the case, why? More responsibility and a chance to spread the wings. That's the answer. That's for sure. But is there more? Because there has to be to advance to the NBA Finals. How do you keep the fun train rolling with everybody on the squad when Anthony returns? We can start with Anthony doing a better job passing out of double teams. Anthony Edwards' lack of recognition of late, when he gets doubled, turning the ball over, that has to change. I mean, because he's capable of being very good with it. He gets doubled every time, so he's going to be required to pass the ball when he gets doubled. And he will pass it, but he's been throwing it away of late. What does that indicate? There's a tell. There's a tell. Teams know when they double him certain points of the court, he's going to throw it to a certain area, and they're going to pick it up. And it happened a lot before he got hurt. How does Finchy blend Ayo, Dante, and Bones together when Anthony Edwards returns? Because, again, stark contrast, positively speaking, to a lot of those things we just read without Anthony. The balance, that's key. What blossoms with Edwards' postseason return, and what branches on the tree that currently are flourishing suddenly are in need of pruning. Am I onto something, or am I on something? Because it's there with Anthony. You can absolutely win at a high level with Anthony, but what I and we have seen from certain facets of this team without him the last 4, I want that to stay. Maybe not the minutes, but the cohesiveness and the fun. We'll be right back.
It's a Talkback Tuesday here on 9 to noon. Every Tuesday we select a Talkback winner for a $25 prize pack from Northern Fire BBQ. And today's winner is my main man, Kyle.
PA Max, what's up? Kyle from my Sandy, a.k.a. K-Dot Cuisine, if you know what I mean. Kyler Murray might be small, but he ain't short as Doug Flutie. Who cares if he likes to rock a little Call of Duty? Because when he gets on that field, if he working that defensive booty, the run game's a little wrinkle we've been missing. Let's trust in Kyler, and the Lombardi Trophy we'll be kissing. Skol, baby. Let's do it.
Congratulations, Kyle. You win the Northern Fire Prize, northernfirebbq.com. Thank you for the good times. Listen tomorrow when we rise and shine at 9. Chris Finch joins 9 to noon tomorrow. Likewise for Wild coach John Hines and Hockey Hall of Famer Tony Granato, plus more. For Max, I'm Paul Allen. Thank you very much for listening. God bless you, and may God bless all of your families. And thank you for listening to KFAN. Bye-bye.
Good times. Scratching and surviving. Good times. Hanging in a jar. Good times. Ain't we lucky we got 'em? Good times.
Podcast today's Paul Allen Show, or listen back to previous show and interviews by going to the iHeartRadio app or KFAN.com.